we got to break this down, B, because he got Antonio Brown, he has Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, and then the fourth one was Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
How do you like his Mount Rushmore?
Listen, there's been.
I don't like it.
You go ahead, Ashley. Why you don't like it?
I mean, no. Listen, Cooper Kupp. When we were building our like ultimate wide receiver, I said that I would want Cooper Kupp's like IQ because I feel like his memory is insane. When you hear him in post game interviews, he can recite everything from the first snap to the very, very last one. Like, it's absolutely incredible. But can we throw that graphic up there one more time? But when we're talking Mount Rushmore, how do you have Cooper Kupp and you don't have Randy Moss?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How do you have, no shade, Antonio Brown, but you don't have, Bernie, you're going to hate it, but like a T.O.?
Right.
This doesn't.
No, I respect it.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, now if Antonio Brown, I will make the case for this though. Antonio Brown has a different career. He could definitely be on that list.
Well, if he played a couple more years
in Pittsburgh,
all the distractions off the field.
If he plays a couple more years and doesn't have all the extra stuff.
You're saying if he would have?
If he would have.
Okay, I thought you said if he would have. Like,
no. If he would have,
right.
Yeah.
I would be like, I can give you Antonio Brown. Yeah. I could give that. Like, Antonio Brown is one of those things where you're almost like mad that it kind of happened the way it did, because he could have been one of the goats, like Mount Rushmore goats.
Right. So, can I be honest real quick?
Please.
Can I be honest?
You're not mad at it?
I'm not a jealous guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want everybody to win. But what you just said is, Antonio Brown, like, I'm actually like, you look at it, most receptions in a season consecutively, like, he tied all of them. So if he'd have played a couple more years, he would have been number one. I would have been at 2.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm looking at him like, I hate to see that his career was cut short, but I'm like, damn, okay, now we both tied.
Yeah.
We both tied.
Thankful, right?
I'm just going to be honest. I just had to be honest really quickly. If we can throw that back up there. I'm not mad at it, Ashley, and my perspective is shifting because this conversation has already started in the NBA, right? And I think it was Stephen A. Smith, Cam and Mace having this conversation because the gentleman, the young dude, put Paul George as his GOAT, right?
The GOAT?
And then this whole conversation, this whole slander around D. Wade, as far as like this guy, James Harden, or this guy, this other guy's better. So people are having these conversations, but it's the younger guys. It's the generation beneath me. And so when you think about Jamar Chase in that same sense, I get it, right? Like, a wide receiver, or athletes sit back and they study other athletes. So Jamar Chase is looking at guys that he's studying right now. That's probably how he looked at this, was from a perspective.
He has Jerry Rice on the list.
Yeah.
Any receiver has to put Jerry Rice on the list. Right. Like that's like, you have to.
Yeah.
In football, and this is even a different conversation because some people have LeBron, some people have MJ, some people have Kobe, some people have, right? But in football, there's one GOAT at wide receiver. Now you occasionally hear people throw out, well, Randy Moss is my GOAT or T.O.'s my GOAT, whatever. But Jerry Rice, it's like unanimous.
I'm not so much mad at Antonio Brown because you could make a case for that.
Right.
I don't know how you don't have Randy Moss, but you have Cooper Kupp.
Well, that's why I was getting there.
I feel like Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, though, are like when people give their top 3 in basketball, regardless of the order, it's going to be Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. I don't care if Kobe's second, LeBron's third, Jordan's first. I don't care if LeBron's first, Jordan's second. Those 3 names are going to be on 99.9% of lists. I feel the same way about Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
So listen, this is what we have to understand. That's what I would say, right? Over the last couple of years, not last year, he was hurt, but Cooper Kupp almost had 2,000 yards in 2021. Yeah. 1,947 total yards. He had 145 receptions. He had 16 touchdowns. Right? So like this generation, this is how I explain it because I'm with you, Ashley. I wouldn't have Cooper Kupp on my Mount Rushmore. But I can understand it from Jamar because Jamar is in this space right now, and who he's watching and studying is like, damn, let me see what Cooper Kupp is doing. How did Cooper Kupp get to 1,900 yards? And he probably turned on the film and fell in love with Cooper Kupp, right? Antonio Brown, we're aligned there, right? I can understand how you have Antonio Brown there, and I can also understand Calvin Johnson because when Calvin Johnson was the man and running the league for 5, 6, 7 years in a row. Jamar was in middle school probably, then went to high school. So he saw prime him, and he probably took a little bit of his game. And if you really think about it, Jamar plays like really strong. So he's considered a big receiver.
Yeah.
Strong receiver.
Brent, I wanted to ask you, though, how much value do you put in that Triple Crown award? Like, if a receiver earns that,
thing.
like, yeah, I mean, look how early Cooper Kupp did it in his career.
I'll be honest, yo. I never heard of no Triple Crown.
I've heard of it in horse racing.
Yeah, I ain't hear about no Triple Crown until Cooper Kupp did it. Can we look at it? What other receivers?
I got you. See,
go
on
ahead.
on Jamar Chase's Mount Rushmore, and even if you go through really like the top 10 receivers, Jerry Rice is the only other receiver that's done that. There's been 13 receivers that's ever done it. It's a lot of names we really not too familiar with. Sterling Sharp did it one year.
Wow.
But Cooper Kupp and Jerry Rice are really the only two receivers that really stand out in their list.
Do you have that 13 list?
Yeah, I could read it in the names. So Ray Flattery, this was in 1932. Don Hudson, he did it, 5 times? You said, wait, what do you want me to do?
Just run through them real
names,
quick.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like a name 5 times. Elroy Hirsch. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name.
Next.
Pete Penhost.
Keep going.
Raymond Berry.
Keep going.
Johnny Morris. Dave Parks. Lance Alworth. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know any of these names. Then some more familiar names. Like I said, Sterling Sharp, Steve Smith Sr. So
Steve Smith did it?
Steve Smith did it in 2005.
And
really?
What is this?
The Triple Crown.
Triple
So
Crown.
you led the league in catches. He had 103 that year, yards, 1,563, and touchdowns. He had 12 in 2005.
Right. So you win all 3.
And Cooper Kupp's done that?
Yeah.
He did that in 2021. The year, basically,
And
the
y'all
stats
were
that he was just
dissing me
reading
when
out.
I had him part of my ultimate wide receiver. Say you're
What
sorry.
did you have him
I
at,
wasn't
though? What did
dissing
you
you.
have him at? What part of the body was it?
IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, but that's kind of like, so why you gotta be a white guy that got the high IQ? Why you gotta do it like that? Black guy couldn't have high
He's going with
IQ.
what he puts
And
on
I
paper.
explained this because
Explain it again.
No, I said that there's a lot of guys who have a great IQ at the wide receiver position. But one thing I'm super impressed by with Cooper Kupp is his ability is his retention, like his ability to go have so much going on in the course of a game, and then you interview him post game, he can tell you what happened the very first snap to the last one.
That's
like
crazy.
It's absolutely impressive to me.
That's crazy.
LeBron
Ashley.
does the same thing though.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
You playing into the stigma.
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing with you.
You don't
No,
find
you're
that
right. I remember
impressive,
that. Yes, it is. It
He
is.
like,
He was like, yeah, but
he
yes.
remember, but
Yeah.
it's insane because it's not just. He doesn't just remember what he did. He can recite what everyone around him was doing. Like, how the hell are you focused on all of that when you have your own job to do on the field? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. So listen. For one more time, throw it up there. Antonio Brown, I'm okay with. Calvin Johnson, I'm okay with. Jerry Rice, I'm okay with. Cooper Kupp, I can understand why this generation or Jamar Chase would consider him, will put him up there. But I read something in the chat where somebody said he's not consistent enough. And that's true, right? Like, what I want to see from my number one receiver, I want to see you go over 1,000 yards year after year after year. He's going into what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, his 7th year. Oh, wow. And he's only gone over 1,000 twice, right? Really? Is he that guy? Absolutely. Do you have to game plan for him? Absolutely. But this was a bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah. Hey, I got one more for you, Brandon. I want to go back to AB. Is AB a Hall of Famer?
I think Antonio Brown. Hate to bring myself up all the time. It feels like this last 2-3 weeks I've been talking about myself a lot. But I feel like he's in the same category, in the same boat as I am, right? Where
when does he go,
it's going to take 10 to 15 years for AB to get in. I think AB probably has a better shot than I do because, like, what they look at is, like, in your generation, or was there a period of time where you were the best wide receiver, right? Like, I flirted with, 2 and 3, always was top 5 for the most part, like, majority of my career. But I never was, like, number 1. Antonio Brown for a few years was, I'm the best wide receiver, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you still had people saying Julio Jones because that was the Julio Jones era. There were some other wide receivers doing some amazing things, but Antonio Brown went on a crazy run. But they, look at T.O. T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Fame, but they consider the stuff that happens off the field, right? And it's been rough for Antonio Brown. So is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. but we don't understand how they vote. We don't understand the system. You see a lot of players, former players, complaining about it. So I don't know how they're going to approach Antonio Brown. But when you look at the numbers, you look at his run, different. And not just how he played the game, but also how he practiced. Yep. Like when I knew he was special, when I 2011, 2012, I used to get all the receivers together, right? So I have, there was one year we had like Mike Evans down, Antonio Brown, like all the top young guys, right? And I was kind of like, entering into my prime. And he comes out, and he's in like year 3, Ashley, young dude. He ain't even really take off yet. He pulls up in a drop top Rolls Royce, little late, but I'm like, damn, shit, I'm driving in a van right now.
Not a van.
I don't know. I probably
like a serial killer
I don't know
van?
what I was driving.
Kidnapper van?
I think I was in a Jaguar like XJ or something like that.
Oh, you poor thing.
Right, yeah. So he pulls up in a drop top Rolls Royce. Boom. No shirt on. So he in South Florida, no shirt on, driving around. Okay, that's cool. That's swag. I didn't even think about anything like that. He comes out, he jumps in the drill. Boom. Looks good. And then he walks up to me, he's like, yo, OG, this is how you catch the ball. He's like, put your nose on the ball. Put it like this. And I'm looking at here like, I just came off 2-3 Pro Bowls. Like, this is what's going on in my head, but I had to respect it. I was like, okay, cool. I can learn from the youth. And that's when I knew he was special, because I was like, yo, he's that confident and that sure of himself that he would come to me coming off of like 2-3 Pro Bowls in a row and tell me how to catch the ball. So we'll see. Is he a Hall of Famer for me? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about somebody who is a sure Hall of Famer, and who I'm referring to is Aaron Rodgers.
Can we take a pause real quick? Because I want to send, yesterday I didn't get a chance to do it, but I saw that in the chat. Wanted to send love to one of our normal watchers, Pamela. Okay. I saw yesterday the chat was sending her well wishes. She's going through some things with her health. So just wanted to send her some love, light, and positivity from myself and everybody on the set, the crew. We are thinking of you, and we're sending you love, light, positivity, healing, all of that good stuff. So just wanted to go ahead and say that to her.
Team, I love that. Team, can we potentially connect with Pamela? Let's maybe send some chocolates, or people still like chocolates. People like fruit baskets or something.
Fruit baskets.
Yeah, you know how you got like the pine. You ever had a fruit basket?
Oh, like an edible arrangement.
Yeah, what is that called?
Oh, an edible arrangement.
Ashley, that's so nice.
Yeah,
you do have a warm side to you.
Thank you. Now I go back to being the ice queen. Go ahead, Corey.